What is up, everybody? Welcome into the DNVR Nuggets Podcast here on a Thursday. Harrison Wind hosting again, joined by my guy. You know him from every podcast in the DNVR universe by now. DNVR Bets, the DNVR Draft Show, DNVR Broncos Podcast. He's also our resident international NBA scout.
That's right.
Andre Simone.
That's right. Yeah, Harrison, hyped to do this. This is like going back to almost the BSN days here.
We've done a lot of pods together. We haven't done
Yeah.
one in a while, though. Just me and
Just
you.
the two of us, I know. Straight up. This has been fun. Have you enjoyed this week? I've liked all your guests.
I've had some good guests on this week. My guy Swipa.
Yep.
Andy Bailey offered some hot takes. Superstar Dev, of course, popped in for a show.
Yes.
It's been a good week so far, but now I got you, man. So thanks for coming on.
That's right. I hope to live up to the rest of the people you've had on this week. Yeah, I'm excited. How's this offseason treating you? Is it finally feeling like an offseason?
Yes, finally. Summer League was awesome. I mean, as you saw.
Yeah.
I'm still pissed you weren't out there with us. We needed our bets guy out in Vegas, but
I know
it was good.
I probably would have lost too much money on the Nuggets anyways, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Really turned it around.
Hyped to have you on today, man. A lot of betting content on today's show. We're going to go over some of our best offseason bets for the Nuggets, our best offseason bets for the NBA. I've got a bunch lined up here. I know you've got some as well. And then at the end of the show, I'm going to throw out some of my long shot bets, some ridiculous long shots that you probably shouldn't bet on, but that kind of caught my eye out as I was browsing the lines on Bet365. That's where all of our lines and bets will come from today. First off, man, just want to get your thoughts on the Nuggets offseason, though. I mean, you've been sitting back and watching. You saw the draft, how the Nuggets handled free agency. Not the most active free agency, but, they re-signed somebody from last year's team, a couple guys from last year's team, brought in a couple vets. The draft, of course.
Yeah.
Are you higher or are you lower on the Nuggets after free agency, after the draft than you were before, do you think?
I think it's ebbed and flowed to where in the finals, before the draft, before we were even in draft season, the finals seemed to make these trades to add more draft picks and stuff. I was very intrigued by what Calvin Booth and this front office is doing. It's not what you see in the NBA ever from a contender, but it's not that dissimilar to what a lot of teams will do in the NHL and especially NFL. In like the Chiefs, they traded Tyreek Hill and they're like, we're just going to add draft picks. We're going to make this roster a little deeper, a little cheaper, and a little more flexible that way. And, they won a Super Bowl last year that way. So I'm very intrigued that in an NBA where you never see this from a big contender, especially because usually the contenders are big money contenders with like a 30+ year superstar and they got to capitalize on like a 2-year window. I'm really intrigued by what the Nuggets are doing there. And then, I mean, the draft itself had all these points to get into that have me just fascinated. Free agency was a bit of a bummer. Bruce, I think we knew was out, but I was counting on Uncle Jeff coming back, which I know sounds stupid, but did feel like, it's one of those guys that was part of that 8-man rotation in the playoffs. So the more you can bring back, the more you feel good about that. And so I think going into the draft and the offseason, I was maybe even higher. And now I've gotten back to being like the same as I was in that championship glow. The beauty is the rest of the NBA, there's no one who I feel like has significantly closed the gap. And even just looking at the future moves ahead, I'm not sure I'm scared that anyone, what's the move out there that has me scared as a Nuggets fan?
Right. Yeah, I'd say I'm pretty much with you. Free agency initially got a little lower on the Nuggets naturally. The draft and after Summer League, I'm a little higher than I was. So I think that
Yeah.
even to like about the same as I was coming off the season.
Right.
Losing Bruce hurts, of course. I put out a tweet last night because I was just thinking of the year that Bruce Brown had in Denver. He
Mm-hmm.
had a hell of a year, man. He had a
Dude.
hell of a year. Listen to all these things he did this year. Averaged a career high in points and minutes, played golf almost all year round. Good golf. Won a championship. Got drunk off Rakia with Nikola Jokic in Vegas.
Wow.
Tripled his career earnings. He played guard, his natural position, not power forward like he did in Brooklyn, which he hated.
Right.
And he pissed off Lakers fans. Like he had an absolute banner year as a Denver sports athlete, man. I don't know if you could have a
He's
better year than that.
he's the Harrison Wind of Denver sports. He's like you. You published a book. You smoked cigars in the championship locker room. You pumped out banger tweets and banger articles. He's the Harrison Wind of the NBA. I mean, insane year, and he just fit so seamlessly. That versatility is just going to be impossible to replicate.
Yeah.
I do that. There was a point in the offseason where I sold myself on Reggie for a second because Reggie did have a really good year with the Clippers the year prior to last season. I
Right.
mean,
Now 2 years ago. Yeah.
right. Remember, he was dueling it out with was it LeBron at the end of a game where he was like the guy for the Clippers? He was basically in what the Westbrook role ended up being for the Clippers last season, and had some really high scoring games. The bitch with Reggie is his percentages are just always horrible. And that's where he's kind of an awkward fit with this team.
Yeah. Well, you're probably thinking about the 2021 playoffs when he averaged 18 points a game.
Yes.
In the playoffs.
Right.
And I mean, he lived up to the name Mr. June. But yeah, Reggie, like a lot of people were very perplexed at them bringing Reggie Jackson back. And like the more people you talk to, the more you can kind of see why it happened. Like, first of all, I think the Nuggets are banking on him being better than he was last season just from the fact that he's on the team for a full off season and he's going to be with the team for training camp. Like, people really discount how hard it is to join a championship contender, like a top tier championship contender as a buyout guy. That's tough. And another thing, like another reason why the Nuggets brought him back is because, and this might have had a little to do with them losing Jeff Green, but they love the presence that Reggie Jackson is in the locker room. They love how he coached up the young guys last year after he got here. Like they love how positive and supportive and just kind of the tone he carries into the locker room. And they know he's not going to be a disruptor there. They know he's going to be a positive influence, behind the scenes. So I think that was another big reason why. And with all the young guys that they brought in, the 3 rookies all on regular contracts who could all play at times this season, especially Jalen Pickett, Hunter Tyson. I feel like they thought Reggie would be a positive influence from that way. So I think I'll start the year at backup point guard. Who knows how the year will go from there. But I have hope that he'll be better than he was last season. Like I feel pretty strongly that he's definitely not going to be worse, and I'd be a little surprised if he was as bad as he was last year.
Yeah, you'd think they'll give him his chances, and I mean it's there. That wasn't that 18-point playoffs wasn't 5 years ago. That was like just over a calendar year ago. So it's still in there. But him playing more Nuggets ball is what's going to be really interesting. What do you make of these two-way guys they've added in the last, 2 weeks?
I'm intrigued by Jay Huff. Not as intrigued about Braxton Key. Jay Huff, I mean, he's an insane shot blocker. Like that is his NBA skill, blocking shots. Average more than 3 blocks a game in the G League, or around 3 blocks a game. He's got a good shot too. Now, like, I don't think the odds are that they're going to be legit guys with the Nuggets this year or going forward, but I'm actually a little intrigued by Jay Huff, and I think the Nuggets are a little excited about him too. You know, best case scenario, which he's not going to be, is Brook Lopez. He's that kind of archetype.
Yeah.
You know, most likely scenario, he's probably on the Nuggets and then another team next year. But I'm intrigued by Jay Huff. What about you?
The stretch shot blocker is low key a type they've gone after in the Yoke years, but has yet to work out. Tyler Lydon, Bull, the guys who stand out most to me as like guys who plausibly had a deep shot. And like the second thing on the scouting report was good shot blocker.
Tyler Lydon, man, that weak side protection in that 2-3 Syracuse zone. People still talk about it.
That's right, do they?
No, they don't.
They don't. I was gonna say over some drinks about like how could we have ever thought Tyler Lydon was something. So Jay Huff, who knows, maybe at a much lower cost than those other two, could finally be that prototype that kind of fits. I'm intrigued. To me, it is a prototype that would make a lot of sense to have on this team as someone who can give you more shot blocking, but also has a plausible shot and doesn't completely compromise the spacing, unlike my boy Kamagate. What a terrible month for him.
Dude, how disappointed are you with Kamagate showing at Summer League? Because I know, look, international guy, you've obviously been locked in on him the last couple of years. How disappointing was that for you?
The Wemby destroyer, man. Oh, just that really broke my heart. It broke my heart because that's another type I'd love, is that bouncy dunker spot defense first type of big to have on this team. Because I like maybe no one else think back to how fun it was with Fareed with Yoke for a little bit there. You know, sometimes you just want to see Yoke throw alley oops and guys finish those with ferocious dunks. I'm not sure Kamagate is that guy. I was really bummed out, man. He's going to have a great opportunity in Milan, my hometown team. And I loved what, the assistant GM, when you guys had him on the pod, was talking about how huge that experience is going to be for him in the EuroLeague. And I mean, we love defensive bigs. Ettore Messina does, so he fits that type. He's just going to have a hard time getting... Like, there's no guarantee he's not like the second big coming off the bench, even in that scenario. And if that's the case, I worry we just never see him.
So who's playing in front of him? Do you know?
There's always like, they're almost like college teams, European pro teams, like at the big longest contracts, usually 2 years, and they're flipping around. So I'm not sure who they have on, but they had a former Barcelona big on last season, who I think is on the way out. Voigtman, who's this huge like center, who's a real stretch big. He's literally terrible. They have Kyle Hines, who's an undersized, like one of the best bigs in EuroLeague history, an American guy who's been in Europe for like, he's in his 40s almost. And then Nico Melli, who's more of a power forward, but he's a defensive big. But they're loaded up on that front court. And then there's a couple other Italians they might have to have on the roster. So it's pretty crowded between power forward and center.
Yeah. I mean, the Nuggets hope with him, and just from talking to people around the team, this is what they've said, is that like they hope him going from playing in France to playing in Italy under Messina in like a more physical style of play, against more physical competition, like that makes him tougher. Like they want to see him get tougher and play more physical and just play a little meaner, like that's what I was most disappointed about from Summer League with Kamagate. He just didn't have that edge to him that he needed to play with. So
100%.
Yeah. What about the rookies? Which of the 3 draft picks are you most excited about after Summer League on the Nuggets?
Yeah, after Summer League's a really intriguing one. I think I'm back on Strother, who I just think is going to have a nice path to some minutes in this season. I was very intrigued by how he was getting to the hoop more, using that size he has. Obviously, you're a huge fan of the floater, but we were seeing him not just relying on that floater, but being able to get to the cup. And that shot's pure, man. I mean, the size is there, and I think defensively he might not be the stiff we kind of thought coming out of Gonzaga.
Well, he tries defensively.
Yeah.
Like, he tries. He puts out effort. And I don't know if he knows what he's doing defensively, off ball specifically, but I mean, he tries, which I love to see. And my biggest takeaway from watching Strother at Summer League is like does not just want to be a guy who sits at the 3-point arc and fires him up. Yep. He wants to be like an actual basketball player, which was cool to see. And he was ice cold his first couple games from 3, but I was never worried about his shot. And then he heated up the last 2 games. He's going to be a great shooter in the NBA. Like, very confident about that.
100%. How about Hunter Tyson, though? Crazy, huh?
Yeah. I mean, first team all Summer League. Probably could have gotten some MVP consideration if you look at Summer League efficiency. That's sicko behavior, but I mean, actually, like Cam Whitmore, I don't know if he was efficient enough to be Summer League MVP. Anyways,
yes.
But Hunter Tyson, man, like I've said this before, he just plays basketball and he doesn't have a ton of weaknesses to his game. He's just a really good basketball player, and it blows my mind that other GMs weren't able to see that in the draft. Like, Calvin Booth, I really wonder if he's running laps and lapping other GMs by just picking good basketball players that might not have star level upside, but are going to be role players in this league for 10 years. I really wonder if he's found a market inefficiency and is lapping other GMs who continue to look for the one and done guy who could be an all-star one day, but 9 times out of 10 isn't. They found a great basketball player in Hunter Tyson. They just did.
Yeah, it's a little bit what Memphis has been praised for doing the last couple years. It's kind of what the Heat have done, not so much in the draft, but with the undrafted free agent market, where it's just like, we're just finding guys who can play. Like, we're not going to get too caught up in the traits and the measurables and the shiny stuff you can project, and just find guys who check off the boxes and can actually get on an NBA court.
Yeah. Well, let's hit a break. And then on the other side, going to get into some of our best Nuggets off-season bets. I got a bunch lined up. I know Andre does too. We will get to that in 1 second. I got to tell you guys about Factor Meal Kits, brand new sponsor here at DNVR. Make sure to check these guys out because, look, man, I know I never have time to cook.
Yeah.
We're running around all day at the office, at home, running errands, doing shows. Wouldn't it be nice if you just had a great meal, healthy, great ingredients, fresh, never frozen, that you could just keep in your fridge and then pop into your microwave for 2 minutes and then eat and be ready to go? That's what Factor Meal Kits is. So get set up with these guys right now. Go to factormeals.com/DNVRNugs50, DNVR NUGS 50. Get 50% off your order at factormeals.com. Factor Meals, like I said, you can just keep them in your fridge. When you get home, you pop them in your microwave, 2 minutes, good to go. And they've got like great stuff too. Filet mignon, shrimp risotto, green goddess chicken, like gourmet restaurant, high quality meals that you just microwave. You can put them in your oven too, but you can just microwave them when you get home. Good to go in 2 minutes. They taste great. They're healthy, good with whatever diet you're on. So check these guys out. Factormeals.com/DNVRNugs50, DNVR NUGS 50. Get 50% off your entire order. That's a huge discount. 50% off your entire order at factormeals.com. Also, make sure to check out Shady Rays for the summer. We were just all out in Vegas, and Shady Rays hooked us up with sunglasses. We needed them. We absolutely needed them. Go to shadyrays.com, use the code DNVR for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses rated 5 stars by 250,000 people. This is their best deal of the season. For DNVR listeners, use the code DNVR, 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Just go to their website. They have so many styles. They got a style for everybody. You can also check them out in person if you want to try your sunglasses on. Park Meadows Mall, they have a location. Full stop shop for all things Shady Rays, but go to shadyrays.com, use the code DNVR, 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. All right, back here, DNVR Nuggets Podcast, Thursday edition, Harrison Wind and Andre Simone. Let's get into some Nuggets bets, man. I mean, you're our guy when it comes to this stuff, and it's peak offseason, so a perfect time to dive into bets for next year. I'll let you go first. What's the top bet you've got on the Nuggets? For the Nuggets. What do you got right now?
Am I crazy for loving Christian Brown plus 7,500, I believe it is, to win 6th Man of the Year, a complete wide open award? I mean, yes, you've got the Christian Brown agenda, and yet it might be too hot for you too. There's no clear-cut favorite outside of Emmanuel Quigley, I guess. I guess Malik Monk. There are some decent candidates, but the sophomore glow up from a guy who played important playoff minutes and is going to get back to the regular season and be like, oh, this is a piece of cake. He should be the 6th man coming off the bench. I think all the other awards, there's going to be some Nuggets fatigue, but in this one, I don't think you'll see all that much Nuggets fatigue. I'm not saying like this is a lock or anything, but I just think plus 7,500, it should probably be closer to plus 1,000, plus 2,000.
Dude, he is so low down on this list. He's in a category with TJ McConnell, who like I don't even think has a team right now. I think he's still on the Pacers, maybe. I don't even know. And like Trey Mann of the Thunder, who's actually plus 7,500 as well. Here's the thing. Like Bruce Brown was not even in consideration for 6th Man of the Year last year, and he was incredible.
Yeah.
How many points would Christian Brown have to average to garner consideration? Like I would definitely think 13, 14, 15 at the minimum, right?
Yes. It's not impossible, Harrison.
It's not. I mean, the reason why like you might want to put a unit on this is that this is wide open. Like this field is wide open for 6th Man of the Year. The top 3 are Emmanuel Quigley, who almost won it. Or wait, who even won 6th Man of the Year last year?
Oh, I'm forgetting. I think did Derek
Malcolm Brogdon? It was Malcolm Brogdon.
Okay, there you go.
It was Malcolm Brogdon, who's got the second lowest odds. Quigley's the highest, who was the runner-up last year. So he's definitely the favorite. It's just like the names at the top of this list, not much excitement there. Malik Monk, who I actually like at plus 1,600 is 4th. I actually like that.
Same.
But maybe a unit on Christian Brown could be fun. I don't mind that.
Yeah, come on. I mean, there's guys like Grady Dick ahead of him. Like
that's crazy.
They're both former Kansas guys. Like he's definitely a better bet than Grady Dick.
Yeah. I just don't know if Christian Brown's going to score enough. And scoring is the first, seems like, parameter to winning 6th Man of the Year.
Yeah, fair point.
All right, let me get to my number 1 bet.
Do it.
Nikola Jokic MVP.
Okay.
He's plus 475. He's the favorite. I still think those are great odds. Those are great odds for Nikola Jokic MVP. Here's why. They've got the new 65 game minimum right now. He's going to play it.
Yes.
And there are other MVP candidates who are not. Joel Embiid's not going to play 65 games. other guys, Kevin Durant always gets hurt. Like the
Yeah.
other top MVP candidates have injury and load management stuff that's going to be happening around them. Nikola Jokic, they will rest him, but he's going to play 65 games.
Yeah.
But the biggest reason why is because the voters are definitely going to have some shame about not voting him MVP last year.
It's a good angle.
And then him going out and winning the NBA championship, the freaking Larry O.B. And they're going to be like, man, we just should have given it to him last year. Even though I'm fine Embiid won it. I think Embiid was deserving last year with how Jokic took the last month off. I'm fine with that.
Yep.
But Nikola Jokic is going to put up monster numbers. The Nuggets are going to be a great team in the West, top 1, 2, 3 seed guaranteed, I think. He's going to put up great stats with ridiculous efficiency. They're going to be an unreal offense. They're going to win a ton of games. And in the back of everybody's mind, they're going to be like, man, we should have given it to him last year. Let's give it to him this year. I think this is probably going to be the worst odds he has all season. Like it's only going to get shorter, I think. Plus 450.
God, you just made a great case. I kind of felt like there's going to be some right. There's going to be some Nugs fatigue, but he's just a walking 25, 10, and 9, you know.
Like, I think he's going to average a triple-double this year. I think his scoring is going to be down, but he's going to get the assists, which he was just real close to, but didn't quite get last year.
Right.
He's going to average a triple-double. The efficiency is going to be insane. Maybe not 70% true shooting percentage, but high 60s probably.
Yeah.
I just think like this is a quality bet at plus 475, even though he's the favorite, even though he's got the shortest odds. I just think he's going to be in the conversation. So I think this will be a good time to get a bet in.
Yeah, I mean, and the beauty is Bet365, you sign up, they give you $200 in bonus bets like that. So you have plenty to play with. And it's true, it's the rest of the field who's really scaring me. Like, whose year is it really? Like, who's due to have that breakout and get their MVP this year?
So Luka plus 600.
Yep.
Everybody wants to give him the MVP at the start of every season. But again, I'm just not buying the Mavs, which I'll actually get into in a little bit at all. I'm just not buying the Mavs. Right. So I'm kind of out on that one. Joel Embiid's not winning it this year. I guarantee you that.
Yep.
Plus 650. Giannis will be there. Plus 550. He'll be there for sure. Steph, I think, will be there too.
Yeah.
I just think Joker's a quality bet right now.
I mean, hard to make a case. I certainly couldn't make a case against it.
Yeah.
No.
All right. What else you got?
I love me an Aaron Gordon sprinkle for Defensive Player of the Year. Plus 10,000.
Jeez.
That's another wide open field right there. AG is like heavily undervalued. He's at the same odds as Jokic, actually, which is insane.
Aaron Gordon's at the same odds for Jokic to win D-Boy.
Aaron Gordon, KD, and Kristaps Porzingis all have the same odds to win Defensive Player of the Year, which is like truly incredible. And it's just an odd field, and I think we need to start recognizing those wing defenders. You know, how many other guys can truly guard 1 through 5? Like AG is, I mean, he's in the tippy top 1 percentile of like incredible NBA defenders. And when you start doing that for a contender who should be, you know, right in the mix to win 55 plus games, I think he will get that consideration. I've been on the Evan Mobley train for this award for like 2 years now, and I'm still be in on that, but I just think AG has some real juice in this category.
So you're banking on him playing defense at the level he did in the playoffs for the regular season? Because if he does, like, he would be in the conversation.
He's their second most durable of the big four, and he's the guy they rely on to play heavy minutes as much as like any other star that's not Jokic on this team. So you've got that going for him. I think there'll be more attention on him in those premier regular season games, those premier matchups. And I also don't think it'll be one of those seasons where they lock things up like 2 weeks into January of the next year. So I think the team will still be playing hard and still have like some attentions, some games that really have like the attention of the national media.
Yeah.
I just think, he could be in the mix.
Okay. Here's my next one. The Nuggets over-under is 54.5 wins. I'm going under. For the first time in the Michael Malone era, because the Nuggets have hit the over every season under Michael Malone other than 2020.
Yep.
COVID shortened season. That's 8 seasons straight. They won 53 games last year. I'm going to take the under on 54.5. Just because, man, the season after a championship is always just bullshit. The regular season portion of it.
100%.
Like, we know how they're going to enter the season. We know how Nikola Jokic is going to enter the season. I'm sure they'll take their foot off the gas again at the end of it. They'll have a strong middle of the season, I'm sure. But they know they can flip the switch now. And that's going to give Michael Malone a freaking migraine throughout most of the year. But it's a fact. They can flip the switch, especially on defense. I think the West overall got better.
Yep.
I still think the Nuggets are in a tier by themselves in the West, but overall the West got better. But I would just probably take the under.
The middle class raised itself, right? And maybe that second tier behind the Nuggets improved a little bit. Lakers, Suns. Yeah, I can see that. But part of your point, I think, is there's only 2 teams in the West whose win totals are over 50, and it's the Nuggets at 54.5 and the Suns at 51.5. They might be able to clinch the 1 seed with 52 wins.
They could. They very well could.
With Ja being suspended for all those games, the Grizz numbers way down. And I mean, teams like the Lakers are going to have to load manage. Interesting, the Clippers are one of the few teams you can't find on this. Clippers and Portland.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Andre, just whatever the Clippers under is, just take it. just take the under.
Well, that's why they're not giving it to you, right? Like,
especially if they trade for James Harden, just take the under.
Oh my God, that would be insane. So it's going to be an easy to win West. And yeah, I mean, they were flipping a switch last year and they hadn't won anything. So yeah, now they'll be flipping the switch like crazy. I won't be taking that, but I do respect that bet. I think it's a good wager.
Okay. You got anything else for Nuggets?
For Nuggets, no, because again, I think there's like coach of the year would be a fool's bet. I just don't think there's enough. It's like the narrative just isn't there for Coach Malone to really even be a contender. I'd love Ime Udoka in that one, but I know the NBA would never let that happen for just PR reasons. So no, that's kind of where I'm at with the Nuggets bets on this slate.
Here's my last Nuggets bet.
Yeah.
Jamal Murray, clutch player of the year. Plus 2,500. He's 18th on this list, way down. The thing is, there's no parameters to this award. There's no qualifiers you have to hit. You have to, there are 2, I think, actually. You have to hit a couple game-winning shots. You have to have a good narrative and story behind you. That's what De'Aaron Fox had last year when he won it. Hit some big game winners, was great in the clutch, and he had a good story behind him. The Kings were surprising. They were an upstart, great story, great team in the regular season. I could see Jamal Murray winning clutch player of the year. I've said it on this podcast like all week. I think next regular season is going to be the regular season for Jamal Murray. I think he's kind of going to take over this team. I think he might lead the Nuggets in scoring. And I could see him having a lot of big clutch moments early on in the regular season when that narrative gets set. And plus 2,500 seems like really good value there.
God, I wish you could have to make the All-Star game bet. Because
he's a lock for
that would be really an amazing bet to place on Jamal Murray. We actually might have to reach out to Bet365 on that one. Maybe we can make that happen. But yeah, I like that narrative, man. I like that narrative. Hopefully he plays enough. Like, Jamal hasn't had a long history of injuries that have kept him out a long time prior to the last 2 years.
Right. He usually powers through everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So hopefully that was just a blip in the road and he's back to being a complete horse. Yeah. Love it.
All right. Let's hit another break. On the other side, some NBA bets that we feel really good about. And then we will get to the long shot segment, which I'm very excited for. I have some great long shots I want to throw at you. Guys, Volo Sports, the largest social sports company in the entire United States, in the entire country. We've played in a bunch of Volo leagues, bowling league, kickball,
pickleball now.
You're playing in the pickleball league.
Yeah.
Have you played in a game yet?
We got to get the first game under our belt, but I'm hyped, man.
Nice.
Yes.
Excited to hear about that.
Yeah.
Registration for Volo leagues closing August 3rd. Sign up before it's too late. Get your Volo pass. Start playing in leagues as a free agent today. Make sure to use code DNVR10 for $10 off volosports.com/Denver. They've got leagues throughout the city. Lodo, Rhino, Uptown, City Park, the Highlands, Sloan's Lake, Cherry Creek, DU, Englewood, Arvada, Aurora, Northfield. No matter where you are, check out Volo Sports, whatever sport you want to play in. Yeah. Like I said, we've played in a bunch of leagues. They got sports for every league. And if you play in the City Park League, everybody just comes to the DNVR bar after and gets absolutely wild and just drinks a bunch of beer.
That's exactly
so volosports.com/Denver, code DNVR10 for $10 off your Volo pass. Also make sure to check out Kind Love. Kind Love was one of the first dispensaries in Colorado, established in 2010. They're known for cultivating some of the highest quality cannabis in the state, authentic genetics, patient grow techniques, one of the highest quality brands in Colorado as well. They have stores in Cherry Creek or North Denver. When you come in, mention DNVR, get the DNVR exclusive discount, 25% off all Kind Love flower, pre-rolls, and their turbo joint line. Visit their website as well, kindlove.com. Use the code DNVR for online ordering and their full extensive menu. Of course, they've got the turbo joint, 0.7 grams of whole bud, 0.3 grams of turbo keef, ridiculously potent, burns so much smoother than other pre-rolls on the market. Use the code or drop in to their store, mention DNVR, get the DNVR discount, 25% off all Kind Love flower pre-rolls and turbo joints.
Nice.
All right, back here. DNVR Nuggets Podcast, Harrison Wind, Andre Simone. Let's get to some bets from around the association, non-Nuggets edition. What do you got top of your board?
I go all in on these regular season wins, and the one I feel best about is the Orlando Magic over 36.5. Just think the bottom of the East is weaker. I like that young core. I like how deep they are. They've got length. They've got some scoring. And they've got some plausible defense. I think Orlando can sniff around 500 and even get 40 wins this year. 36.5, the over at -130 on Bet365. I like that a lot.
I like that too. Paolo Banchero coming off Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
They've got pieces around him now. I mean, I like that bet too. In a mediocre East, they could definitely jump up a couple spots.
Yeah, exactly.
My top one, Minnesota Timberwolves over 43.5 wins. They won 42 games last year, and they had a disaster season.
Yeah.
Karl Anthony Towns missed most of the year. They were integrating Rudy Gobert. I liked what they did this offseason, adding to their bench.
Mm-hmm.
The Mike Conley for D'Angelo Russell trade was a good trade for them last season. They're going to start the year off with him this year.
Right.
I just have a feeling last year was like the worst version of the Timberwolves that we'll see in the
Mm-hmm.
regular season. And I'm not like super high on their playoff ceiling,
Right.
but regular season wise, I think Minnesota is going to be better. And Anthony Edwards is going to take another jump. I just see them definitely being better than they were last season, and they won 42 games last year. So I think they can get 2 more wins than they got last year.
That's interesting. And I think you also benefit from the fact that, like NBA Twitter is more intrigued by other hipster teams in the West, like the Thunder, the Jazz, even the Pellies, the Blazers have a little love if they were to trade Dame. I bet you they get some buzz. Everyone's
Yeah.
in on Scoot, stuff like that. It's just, those first 7 seeds in the West are tough. So winning games against those 7's hard, but I like the T-Wolves there.
Yeah. No, on yesterday's show, me and Dev were trying to pinpoint the 5 teams that were going to miss the playoffs in the
Yeah.
West.
Yeah.
And that is hard to do because you got the Blazers, the Rockets, and the Spurs. I think you can, those are definitely the 3 worst teams in the West.
Yeah.
But I threw the Pelicans in there as well. And I also threw the Mavs in there. So.
I mean, I think you kind of have to. That's the crazy thing about the West is in the draft, they got all the like superstar upside guys. They all went to the Western Conference. There isn't one team now that the Blazers are trying to trade Dame, but like going into the draft, it seemed like maybe every single team in the West was going to try to compete next year. Usually there's like 2 or 3 where it's like, no, that team's tanking. Everyone's trying to compete. Everyone has high end talent. It's a loaded conference, man.
Yeah. What else do you got?
Speaking of the West and hipster teams, I'm taking the under 44.5 on the Thunder. I think
Ooh.
the hype is just a little too much. I think like finding Chet's natural fit will be a smidge different. Because like if they're just sticking him at the 5, he's going to have some tough matchups. Jokic first and foremost, but like even Sabonis over there is not going to be an easy matchup. And yeah, I just think like it's easy to talk yourself into all the nice pieces they have, but seeing all like they still need to make that transition from having a bunch of great assets that we all love and could talk ourselves into to like a cohesive team where everything's working naturally and fitting all those pieces in seamlessly. Like the over's 45 wins. I don't think they're quite there yet.
I think that's a great bet. Man,
Thank
I
you.
think that's a great bet.
Thank
We might have jumped the gun on the Thunder a little bit.
Come on.
I think you might be onto something there.
Yeah, I appreciate it. In the
Okay,
West, I mean, that bottom third of the
Yeah.
West, like anything could happen, right? So,
Oh, for sure. Here's another one for me. Mavs under 44.5 wins. This is just a bet against Kyrie Irving. I think this is going to absolutely blow up in Dallas's face, and it might take like 3 months for it to happen. Everybody's really high on what the Mavs did this offseason. I'm not that high on what they did this offseason. Like Rashawn Holmes, okay.
Right.
Like it's not really doing it for me, I gotta say. Grant Williams, that's a nice signing, but okay.
Right.
Dante Exum, all right, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
They just drafted a 19-year-old 7-footer. Like
Who couldn't
they got
average 10 points in the ACC last year? Like, forget in the Western Conference,
Yeah. I'm just not a believer in the Mavs with Kyrie Irving. I think it's going to be a disaster. They won 38 games last year. And yeah, they were tanking at the end of the year, but they've got to win 7 more games than they did last year to hit the over.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
They just scare me because, if they got rid of Kyrie early enough, I could see Luka taking, a group of random dudes to 45 wins. We've seen it before, it wouldn't be like that shocking. So that's where that scares me. At the same time, if they imploded completely and we're a 30-win team and the storyline next offseason is Luka wanting out of Dallas, that wouldn't surprise me either, right? Like you could say anything about the Mavs next season, and I'd be like, yeah, I guess I could kind of see that. I guess the next bet I like the best is the Suns under 51.5.
Okay.
There's no depth. There's
not a believer in Keita Bates-Diop.
No.
Okay.
I was when we picked them up way back when, but I've since moved on with my life. I'm now on to Hunter Tyson and other good things. Huff, there's no way this team's a 50-win team just with the track record of injuries KD has, the lack of depth, how top heavy they are, how how loaded the West is, and the fact that it's going to take a while to figure this out. I mean, how many new players do they have on this team? Like basically the entire roster is new dudes who need to figure out how to play with the remaining 3 of Ayton, Booker, and KD. And, even KD's still figuring out how to play with these guys. I just think there's going to be a ton of transition, and they're not winning 50 games, let alone 52.
Another one for me. Pacers over 35.5. They won 35 games last year and got better, I think. Added Bruce Brown, who's just going to play hard in the regular season and give them a couple wins. Added Obi Toppin, who I'm not necessarily that high on, but I think he's a fine regular season guy.
Yep.
Tyrese Halliburton, a year older, and they're not going to be tanking at all, maybe until the very, very end of the season.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to your bet in the East of the Magic. I just feel like they'll pile up some wins. 35.5 doesn't seem that hard.
Love me some Ben Mathurin too. Who knows? Maybe some time with Team Canada. Sometimes those guys come out of international play, take a little jump. Could see that happening with Ben Mathurin. I like that. Let me go. Everyone's going to hate this. I've gotten some love for my other picks. Everyone will hate this, which is what I love about it. I think the Rockets get the over 31.5.
Okay. All right.
I mean, it's an icky pick, right? But they have to compete because they don't have that. They don't own their pick next year. I guess it's top 4 protected I was looking at. And we need to remember, I mean, that's why Houston's been what they've been, is they were purposely tanking. So that definitely factors into this. 2 big veteran additions in Van Vliet. Brooks is going to be a decent rotation guy. I am a Sengun believer, and I thought that draft was awesome. Being able to add Thompson and Cam Whitmore, who I was really high on, is cool. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was a Jalen Green trade to come or something like that. And also, Jabari Smith could have a big jump, had a tough rookie season. And the upgrade, all of this, talent upgrade, young players getting more mature, a real, genuinely great coach coming to them, and just trying to not have a top 10 pick, all that I think leads them to, they may have 38 wins. I'm not saying they're making the playoffs, but still that's, I mean, it's a big jump from last year, but I think they could do it.
Yeah. I like it. Let's hit one more break. On the other side, some other bets from around the association, some long shot bets too.
Yes.
That I want to give to Andre. Right after this, Breckenridge Brewery, the official beer of DNVR. Go to breckbrew.com. Check out the Breck Brew beer locator. If you need to know where to get Breck Brew, just type in your zip code. Shows you where to get Breck Brew closest to you. We got the Women's World Cup coming up. Of course, we got tons of stuff planned at the DNVR bar for it. We're having watch parties for every game. If you can't make it out to the DNVR bar, check out the watch parties at Breck Brew at the Farmhouse in Littleton. They got merch giveaways, 4 to 9:30 p.m., 3 big screens around the beer garden. Great spot to watch the games if you can't make it to the DNVR bar. Of course, check out all our favorites from Breck Brew, the Avalanche Amber, Mile High City for the Nugs, Broncos Country Pale Ale, Good Company Hard Seltzers, the Juice Drop IPA, so many favorites. Breck Brew, the official beer of DNVR, the beer of the month, Palisade Peach, $6 at the DNVR bar. $6 Palisade Peach for the entire month, the beer of the month at DNVR. So make sure to check out Breckenridge Brewery, the official beer of DNVR. All right, back here, DNVR Nuggets Podcast, Harrison Wind and Andre Simone. Let's wrap up here with some long shot bets.
Give it to me.
I've got a couple for most improved player. You ready?
Yes.
Gabe Vincent plus 5,000.
Whoa. With the Lakers now, right?
With the Lakers. Gets the Lakers bump. He might be starting once they trade D'Angelo Russell, which I think they still will. Averaged 9 points a game last year. Averaged 13 in the playoffs. That was with him scoring a combined 15 points over the last 3 games of the finals when he absolutely fell off the face of the earth. If he averages like 17, 18 points, which I think is doable starting at point guard for the Lakers, everybody loves Gabe Vincent. He's going to get the Lakers hype machine bump. I think it's on the table. Plus 5,000 for Gabe Vincent.
Wow. That's wild. That is wild, Harrison.
Okay, what about Jaden McDaniels plus 3,500 most improved player?
Now that I could see. He's a real darling over there, and I mean, could get some serious minutes.
I'm just buying the T-Wolves. I'm buying the T-Wolves, especially in the regular season, and he could get some low-key love for Defensive Player of the Year. And I think that would help his most improved player bump. Most improved player is just like wide open. It's absolutely wide open, especially after Lauri Markkanen won it last year, you know?
Right. It's kind of like someone you don't see coming. If you love that T-Wolves bump, Anthony Edwards plus 18 hundo to be the clutch player. There might be some love there.
Yeah, potentially. Let's see here. I got some more most improved player. Tyrese Halliburton plus 4,000. If the Pacers kind of like start the year off really hot and they're, top 5, 6 seed or so.
Yeah.
I could see him getting a lot of love. I mean, he would be just the guy on that team if they're playing well. Also, Franz Wagner plus 3,300. Third-year guy, kind of on the cusp of being mainstream. The Magic, your Magic, could be like the Oklahoma City Thunder of last year. Everybody's sexy side piece team, so I could see that too.
Like that. Ben Mathurin, another guy who might be intriguing there at plus 6,600.
You got any?
I am in on Scoot plus 350 Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's everyone's in on like the Scoot good vibes as Dame forces his way out of town, and it'll be an exciting young backcourt that we sell ourselves on, and Scoot will just have the keys and do like, be putting up kind of some empty calorie stats, Tyreek Evans style. And like I could see him putting up a 26-4 and bunch of highlights of dunking over bigs and, just running away with that award. Chet's another intriguing one, but again, I think the Thunder will have more complications than we expect.
Don't mind that. MVP, a couple long shots. SGA plus 2,200. Now, like, I don't think he's going to win it because the Thunder aren't going to be good enough, but you could throw a bet in now and then cash out on it, because the Thunder could have like a hot start to the year. Like SGA, he just made all NBA first team. So he could have that similar momentum. And then I put Anthony Edwards on here plus 5,000 MVP.
Wow. That'd be crazy if Ant was even a contender. Jamal Murray plus 7,000 to win the MVP, huh? That's nuts.
What do you think about my Jamal Murray take that this could be the year of Jamal? Him leading the team in scoring, him kind of becoming the voice, the heart and soul, like him kind of taking ownership of this team during the regular season. What do you think about that potentially?
It's a good sell. I do wonder if after winning the chip, how much motivation is there going to be, especially in the first half of the regular season, to really put it on him. But at the same time, if he's feeling good, there is something where, like, once you win a championship, it kind of unlocks a bit of a confidence and killer instinct that just comes out more regularly. It's just so hard with Jokic on the team, you know, like Jokic is so efficient. He kind of overshadows everything. So I sell myself on it, and then I see the crux and the thinking as well. I'm on the fence with this one, Harrison.
Yeah,
I really am.
See, the motivation after winning a championship is a big question mark, particularly in the regular season. I just get the sense that Jamal Murray is as motivated as ever to prove everybody wrong. Like, he's got his confidence back, and now he just wants to kill everybody in his path.
Yeah, I mean, he does love ball. And I mean, we saw it throughout even parts of the regular season last year where there was still like some longing to be the old Jamal, and the kind of joy that was just like pouring out of him with how great it was to see old Jamal in the whole run in the playoffs. So yeah, I could see that. I mean, he was there warming up with the rookies before Summer League, right? Like, nothing tells you he's ready for this season like that.
I know. I think he's in Denver right now, actually.
That's crazy.
Still.
I mean, and look, the haters will get louder and louder as we get closer with the Nuggets just got worse this offseason, so that'll just be more fuel to the fire.
Exactly. You got anything else before we get out of here?
I had a couple other over-under wins, if you will allow me to pitch them your way. Jazz over 36.5. You in?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. The Jazz are going to be feisty. Very feisty.
Yeah, I think the Jazz are really intriguing in that sense. And I kind of think the Kings over 44.5 is an easy win.
It's a pretty low number considering what they did last year. I'm thinking there's a Kings regression coming, but I don't know if they're going to regress below that per se.
I just think with Memphis maybe losing a step, the Lakers, Clippers, you never know what to expect. That of all the top seeds, that might be the one who just kind of levitates up a little bit. Also, it's great for the Nuggets to have them as a top 3 seed. Love the Kings.
Yeah. All right, man. Hey, thanks for hopping on today. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Some great bets to potentially think about heading into next season. Follow Andre on Twitter. Just if you're subscribed to the DNVR YouTube channel, you'll probably see him on a show.
That's right.
Maybe later today, maybe tomorrow. He's at Andre Simone. DNVR Bets. I think he's on the DNVR Broncos podcast tomorrow hosting it. So make sure to check him out there. And thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode. Talk to you guys then.